Welcome to my Celestron Travel Scope 70 review. Today I'd like to give you a closer look at what this travel scope looks like when it's set up, along with talk about the specifications, what I like about it and my opinions and experiences having used it for several weeks now. I'm also going to be sharing my recommendations for who I think that this particular travel scope would be best for and who would get the most out of it. So I'll just briefly touch on some of the key specifications. So as the name suggests, this is a 70mm or 3-inch aperture refractor portable telescope. So what that essentially means is how much light it can gather, and that dictates what you are going to be able to see, and I'll touch upon that a little bit later, what you can see, whether it's celestial objects or terrestrial. Now it has fully multi-coated optics, which is also really good in terms of gathering that light, and it also comes with a range of different accessories. So as you can see, there's the travel bag on the floor there. I really like it. It's really well padded, and there's various different components and areas for you to put the various pieces when this is deconstructed, and I'll get on to setting this up in a second. You also get a couple of eyepieces. You get one at 10mm and one at 20mm. I've got the 20mm in now, and I'll talk about how that you put those in shortly as well. And they basically give you different magnification. So the highest useful magnification is 168 times. So that's important to know because that will dictate how far you can venture into the sky. Now, the other accessories you get, of course, is you get this tripod, and you also get an erect image diagonal, which is important for seeing everything the right way round, because believe it or not, with some telescopes everything will appear upside down unless you have one of these accessories. You also get a finder scope to help you find objects. So that's a bit of an overview of the features and specification. Now I just want to talk about what I like. Now firstly, as a travel scope, it's imperative that you can set it up really quickly, and I've actually tracked myself. I've done this in 4.5 minutes. Incredible. It's really quick and easy to set up. Now of course it does take a little bit of time to get used to it. The first time you do this will probably take you about 10 to 15 minutes, but you can really set it up, and also disassemble it really quickly as well. About 5 minutes once you get the hang of it. It doesn't take long either. It's just essentially you have to move these you set up the tripod to begin with. You've got a few clips that you open out and close, and then you basically just screw the optical tube onto here, tighten a few screws, and then it's just essentially putting in the diagonal, the eyepiece, and screwing them all in, and the finder scope. It's all screws. It's very easy. So I really like that about it. It's also incredibly light. So I believe it's around 3 pounds in total. So I'm holding this up with one hand. So that's really good. It makes it so portable as well. If you've got it in the bag, it's not going to weigh you down. You can take this anywhere with you. On that note, you may want to add some weights to the tripod legs if it's a particularly windy location, or you are worried about or concerned that it may blow over. If it's a very windy day, do bear that in mind. So that is one thing I would potentially say. Not always necessary. As you can see, I've got a stable ground beneath me here, and it's not something I've had to do, but it is something I would be mindful and wary of. So I love how easy it is to take with you on the go. It's very portable in that respect. I also like the fact that you can store it away easily. You get a nice cardboard box and packaging that you can store it all away in, and I actually kept a lot of the additional packaging to keep all of this well protected. So I like that as well, that you can keep it in pristine condition. And if we just take a look at the telescope, it is just really nice. It's got a really nice finish to it, and it just looks really classy despite its cheaper price point. So I like that about it as well. I also really like how easy it is to use in general. So it's on a manual alt-azimuth mount, and that essentially means you can point it in any direction you want to observe. So you literally just unscrew some of these. You've got a lever here, and there's another lever which you should be able to see here, and you basically unscrew those, turn those anti-clockwise, and that enables you to point and shoot wherever you want. And then with the finder scope, you can make sure you align the optical tube wherever you want to see. That is really beneficial. The other things I like about this is just what you are able to see. So I'll touch upon that now. So if you're looking to use this for celestial purposes or astronomy purposes, you can get really good views of the moon, some of the planets as well, and you can also look more broadly at star clusters and galaxies. The Andromeda galaxy is one in particular I like to observe with this. So I really like that. It's very versatile in that respect. In terms of planets, I'd say Venus and Jupiter are among the main ones that you can observe once you find them in the sky. And that's another benefit. You get a particular software with this that you can plug into you can kind of install on your computer, and that will help you to basically find objects in the sky and find, know where to look, which can save you a lot of time and hassle. In terms of daytime viewing, it's great for watching birds and wildlife as well. So it doubles up in that respect. So it's not just looking at the sky, you can use this for terrestrial views as well, whether you want to look at the ocean as well, as an example that I've used this and it's been really, really useful. I really like that about it. So yeah, you can look at the stars, you can look at the sky, or you can look at the ground. It's very versatile in that respect. And at the price point, you'll struggle to find, a telescope of this kind of quality. I feel like it's really, it's a budget pick, and if you compare this against some of the more premium telescopes, it doesn't compare. But at the same time, you're paying between 5 and 15 times more for that. So just bear that in mind. At its price point, you're going to struggle to find anything as kind of superior as this. Celestron is such a great brand, such a great manufacturer. I really appreciate how it was packaged, how it was sent, the quality of the components as well, and just how it looks and how it operates. They've clearly got it down really, really well. So who would I recommend this telescope for? Well, I've touched upon its price there. I would recommend this to any beginner to astronomy, or anyone who's looking for kind of a dual purpose telescope, so terrestrial viewing and astronomy viewing as well. I think anyone who's a student or is new to the hobby would get a lot out of this. You don't have to spend much, and you're getting an idea of how a telescope works, how to use it, and yeah, you get an insight into the sky or daytime viewing. You can see if you enjoy it, and if it's for you, then perhaps you can invest in a more premium telescope later. Also, any travel enthusiast who wants to be able to quickly set up, disassemble, and just take something with them on the go, it's fantastic for that. It doesn't take up much space in that bag. That's a regular sized backpack, and it can kind of condense quite well as well, and it's well protected. So yeah, any travel enthusiast, this is a great buy. And also kids can get a lot out of this as well. It's the simplicity of it, and also just you want to make sure they enjoy the hobby. So this is a great purchase for kids as well. So ultimately, there's a few other tips I'd perhaps suggest if you really wanted to maximize your experience from this telescope, and that would be maybe upgrading the eyepieces in time, or as I say, maybe adding weights to the tripod legs, just to give it that increased stability. But overall, it's a fantastic telescope. It's incredibly versatile, portable, it's user-friendly, and it gives you great optics at its price point. It's so good for beginners, travelers, kids, amateur astronomers. They're the kind of target market, I would say, for this telescope. I've really enjoyed using it. I love how, this is the type of telescope I take with me on the go. I wouldn't take a bigger, larger telescope that I have for kind of home viewing, even though I am recording in my garden here or yard here today, just to show you it. I think it's ideal. I think it's a